watching ChyDoesDisney. Hey guys, so like I said earlier, I'm Cheyenne. I'm doing my second college program this coming fall. I actually leave 4 days from today, which will be Sunday, and I check in on Monday, June 4th at 9:30 in the morning. But before I tell you guys a little about me and do the DCP tag, I just wanted to let you know why I was doing this. So on my last program, I took lots of pictures. I did a PhotoPass, or used PhotoPass, like all these different things, you know, Snapchat, Instagram stories, all this stuff, but I wanted to compile it into something bigger. And I love YouTube and watching DCP YouTubers, and I figured, hey, what's one more to add to the bunch, you know? So that is why I decided I was going to attempt, hopefully, finish vlogging this second college program. So with that being said, a little about me. I just graduated from Pfeiffer University on May 12th, so shout out to class of 2018. We did it, y'all. And I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in English, but also with a North Carolina teaching license. I'm from Johnston County, North Carolina, so like 35 minutes from Raleigh, if you know where that is, like an hour and a half off of the coast, and right up 95 from Disney World. So about 8.5 hours, not too far, but definitely not close at all. And let's go ahead and get started with these DCP tag questions. All right, so the first DCP tag question is, how did you hear about the program? So I actually went on vacation with my family around Christmas, or during Christmas of 2015, to Disney World. And while we were there, I remember distinctively, we were in Epcot and we were walking around, and I saw these cast members, and I was talking to them because I liked their costumes a lot. It was like the flag shirt costumes, I think, maybe, I don't know. But I really liked their costumes, so I went up to him and I was talking to him, and I saw this girl's name tag that said that she was from East Carolina University. And if you're familiar with North Carolina or college football or anything really in the South, you know where ECU is. Excuse me, and it's in Greenville. It's like 45 minutes from where I'm from. So I was like, hey, so why does your name tag say you're from ECU? Like, how'd you get that on there? She was like, oh, I'm part of the college program. So that's how I heard about the college program. And I was still in college at the time, but I didn't think that I'd be able to do it while I was in college. But I remember looking at my dad and I was like, okay, so I know I've always wanted to work for Disney World, and this is how I'm gonna do it after graduation. So that's that. But luckily, actually, I'll tell you about the first program in a little bit. Okay, how was your interview process? So since this is my second college program, I've gone through 2 interview processes. Like I said, the first time I heard about the college program was really in 2015. And I was actually getting ready during my fall semester of my junior year, so fall 2016. So the fall after we visited, and I really learned about it. And I was looking through my credits and my degree audit, and I saw that I was a semester and a half ahead, y'all. And I only transferred in 10 credits from a community college that I took dual classes in high school. So I didn't think I would be that far ahead, but I was. And I didn't want to graduate in December. So what did I do? I applied to the Disney College program 5 days before applications closed in October of 2016. For that process, I applied on a Monday. I scheduled my phone interview for that Friday, and then I was accepted the following Friday. So almost 2 weeks-ish for that turnaround process. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I'd never done anything like this before. So I ordered 2 Girls and a Mouse Tale, the Collins twin sisters book off Amazon. And even though it's a little dated, I still use it to this day in 2018 to get me through some of my college program stuff. And I used it for my interviews this year too, to get into it. So that was heavy, like one of my heavy tools. And then I also used YouTube a lot, like I said earlier. For my second interview process, I applied the day after applications dropped because I was like, oh, I don't want to do it on the day of. It's okay. Fine. So I applied the day after applications dropped. I went straight through to web-based interview, to my phone interview, and I actually scheduled my phone interview for like 4 days later, I think. Excuse me, like 2 or 3 days later. I can't remember. And then set that up. Well, during that, I thought I was going to get NLIC because I didn't automatically get my web-based interview like I did the last time I applied. So I was really upset, and I was like making myself upset. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a nap. So I took a nap, and I woke up from my nap with the email that said, hey, you got your web-based interview, which was awesome and great because at that point, and at this point still currently, those are my plans after graduation. Go back to Florida and figure out what I want to do. So that's how that went. I actually also applied for the summer alumni program this year. So I had 2 open applications at one point. I had Fall Advantage 2018 and Summer Alumni 2018. But both of those phone interviews were very similar. Asked me a lot about like why I put the roles I did, why I wanted to go back to Disney, what I learned from Disney, how I used it in my day-to-day life through college after I got back. So all of those really cool things. Where were you when you found out? So the first time I found out I was accepted, I was at work. I was a student ambassador at Pfeiffer. And so I was at work, my student ambassador work in our office. I was sending out inquiry cards, postcards, stuff like that. I was the only one back there, and I was like checking my email. I had my work computer up, and then I had my laptop over here with Disney Dashboard and Gmail. And if you're in that waiting period after your phone interview, you know that your dashboard and your email are the 2 most important tabs that you will ever have open until you figure out if you're accepted or not. So I was looking up there, and I was getting junk mail all morning from shoe stores, sporting stores, junk campus email, all this stuff. And then so I got a little number that popped up beside Gmail inbox, and I was like, oh, what is this? And it said, WDW Recruiting. Congratulations. Y'all. I didn't breathe for about 30 seconds while I was opening the email. I opened the email and I started reading, and I was sobbing. So I didn't just get up and run out of the office. I got up, I grabbed my laptop, and ran out of the office, past 2 of my coworkers who thought somebody had died. And so they followed me out of the office, and they're like, Cheyenne, what's wrong? And I ended up in our administration building. I fell on the ground, and the president of the university, shout out to you, Dr. Keith, came out of her office and sat down on the floor with me and hugged me because she thought somebody died. So she was like, Cheyenne, what's wrong? Who died? Like, tell me what's wrong. I turned my laptop around, and all I said was, I'm going to Disney World. And so that's the first time I found out I was accepted. And the second time I found out I was accepted, like I told you guys, I just graduated with an English degree and teaching license. So this semester I student taught at one of the high schools close to my university. So I actually got that acceptance email while I was sitting in class teaching. So the students were actually working on some workbook stuff because I was teaching English. So they were working on reading passages. And I just had my email up randomly, and I was looking at my email. Boom. Got another acceptance email. And I couldn't freak out that time. And also, it wasn't more of like a freak out, like I can't believe I got in. It was more of a, oh, thank God, I really needed this. So like, I started shaking real bad and everything. Well, after first block left, I had planning second period. So I told my co-op, I was like, I need to go to the teacher's lounge real quick and take a break. She was like, okay, no problem. So I go to the teacher's lounge. I call my mom, call my dad, let them know what's going on. And I was like, I'm going back to Florida. This, and this. Told them what my role was, which is attractions. We'll talk about that later, and all that stuff. And I went back in there and told my co-op like why I'd left. And she was like, oh, that's so exciting. I'm sorry you got it during school. And I was like, yeah, me too. But it's okay because it worked out. And all of my students really understood. I told them about it the next day, and they're like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So, yeah. Like I just said, my role is attractions. I'm actually Fall Advantage 2018 in attractions. Attractions was one of my top roles. Which kind of refers me back to my first program. Quick flashback. My first program was spring 2017, and I extended into summer. I was resort custodial at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, which the leadership at that resort is phenomenal. It's great. I love my leaders. I was really close with them. They were able to answer my questions, help me out with stuff, all that stuff. But back to present, I knew applying for this program, I did not want to do custodial. I was like, I did it for 6 months. I humbled myself. I learned a lot. I don't want to do it again. And for some people, like, they absolutely love custodial and that's all they want to do forever and ever and ever. And that's great. And I wish I was one of those people, but I'm not. But I'm glad that I did do it. I learned a lot about myself, and public areas and public restrooms. So now I have I already had a high expectation for public restrooms, but since I've cleaned them now at Disney World, yeah, I have an extremely high expectation for public restrooms now. But for this program, attractions was one of my preferred roles, as well as character attendant, photo pass, seater, and bus greeter. Those were my top 5. I only put preferences in for high interest, those 5 high interest, and 1 low interest, and that was quick service food and beverage, because in high school, all 4 years of high school, I worked at the local concession stand at our Civitan ball fields. So I had that background and I was willing to do it, but I didn't want to unless I had to. So that's how that came about. How did you find your roommates and how many do you want? So my first program, I had 4 roommates for the spring part of my program, and I linked with 1 and 2 were random. So I love them, they were great. I still talk to all 3 of them fairly often, almost every day. For one of them, Snapchat and Facebook are great things, my friends. And then for the summer part, technically I had 6 roommates, 2 self-termed within the first week of extension, and 1 was termed. Oh no, she wasn't termed, but we didn't really talk to her. And that's all I'll say about that. But I still keep in contact with my in-room roommate from my summer extension too. And we do talk every day. So your DCP roommates are some of the best people because you do spend a lot of time with them. Although you don't spend a lot of time in your room, maybe, you will spend a lot of time with them. So, for this program, I have 6 roommates, including myself, so 5 roommates. And we met on Facebook, in the Facebook group. It started because my in-room roommate, Victoria, hey girl, I saw that she went to the school right down the road from mine, so I commented on her post and I was like, oh my God, you go to Catawba, I go to Pfeiffer, wow. And then from there, we just kind of kept adding people on because she was already talking to another girl who was talking to another girl who was talking to another girl, and it was just boom. So that's how we all got together. What are you going to miss while on the program? So my family, my friends, my dog, my cat, like all of the stuff that really means a lot to me, but they can come visit me, I can come visit them, FaceTime, all that stuff where we can kind of like bridge that gap. But the food, y'all. Red Carolina Packers hot dogs. If you are from Eastern North Carolina, you know what I'm talking about. They are so good. I only eat Eastern North Carolina, Carolina Packers, red hot dogs. I don't eat beef hot dogs. I don't eat other hot dogs. Those are the only hot dogs I eat. So I'm gonna miss them. I'm gonna miss Cookout because, newsflash, if you guys didn't know, Cookout is not in Orlando or within a 4-hour driving distance of Orlando. So what have I ate while I've been home? Mostly red hot dogs and Cookout. That's just how it is. I'm also going to miss my favorite Mexican food restaurant because I love Mexican food. And I haven't really found a good one down in Florida yet. So if you are aware of one and I am just missing it, or you want to go on a Mexican food date, drop the information in the comments, please, because I'm down 100%. First thing you want to do when you get there, eat a Mickey bar and a Mickey pretzel. What is the #1 thing on your Disney College Program bucket list? Go to Disneyland Resort in Anaheim, California during Halloween time. So that'll be like in the next like 3 or 4 months. I've never been to Disneyland. Like I said, I've never been farther than Kentucky West. I've never been to California, never been to Disneyland, but I love Halloween and I love the way that Disney does Halloween. So I want to see Halloween on both the East Coast and West Coast. And that's my #1 on my bucket list. And the last DCP tag question is, what is one thing you hope to take away from the program? And really, it's just learn more. Learn more about myself, learn more about people, about the company, maybe secure a position in the company for after my program, like transfer into something more permanent. Just learn. I like learning, I like getting to know people and all those different things. So really just learning. All right, guys, so that was my DCP tag. With me not actually looking at you guys. Instead, I was looking at the center of my camera, so I apologize for being a little off center with that. I'll fix that in the next vlog. But yeah, so that was the DCP tag, and next video is going to be me answering your Facebook and Instagram questions. So I'll see you next time. Stay tuned and see you real soon.